good evening and welcome to a brand new series of the talk show that puts conversation on television. And why shouldn't it? Look at the way television gets into conversation. Peter Cook and Barry Humphries will be providing the verbal intercourse tonight. Each of these men has been described by the other as the most inventive living comedian. The conjunction of Peter Cook and Barry Humphries in the same television studio is a rare event. What will they say to each other? And will I get a word in edgeways? Perhaps I'd be wise to do my talking now. So let's start with a lightning survey of the news, both international and domestic, gathered by this program's unique contacts in the intelligence community. Yes, our beautiful researchers are plugged into MI5, MI6, GCHQ, ICI, the CIA, C&A, the KGB, and DIY hire and supply. Kept on a long leash and a short salary, they roam far and wide to sniff out the facts behind the facade. On the world scene, President of the United States, Mr. Ronald Reagan, has reacted angrily to suggestions that he might not really have forgotten being told about the Iran affair. I can clearly remember forgetting, he said as well. In fact, I've even forgotten whose finger this is. Meanwhile, the general election campaign is hotting up. The Labour Party has unveiled its campaign slogan, crying out for change. Labour leader Neil Kinnock kept smiling even after his sensitive nostrils had told him that this young potential Labour voter would be crying out for a change very shortly. With the Conservatives, the Prime Minister's consort, Mr. Dennis Thatcher, has denied ever drinking more than one bottle of champagne in a single evening. Often it's not even as much as that, said Mr. Thatcher at this morning's press conference. And the Conservatives, stung by charges of lack of compassion, are emphasizing how much they care about every living creature in Britain. Conservative Party Central Office has released this picture of Mrs. Thatcher caring about an ant. Mrs. Thatcher said that the productivity of ants had gone up and trade union membership had gone down during her term of office. For the Alliance, David Dimbleby has interviewed David Owen and David Steele and David Bowie and David Soul. On the platform, for those few occasions where David Owen and David Steele are unable to appear together, David Owen appears with a waxwork head of David Steele. News from the media and the BBC's new programme schedules reveal that almost every new BBC programme will either be about the royal family or will actually include members of the royal family. The much vaunted It's a Royal Knockout will be typical rather than exceptional. For instance, Her Majesty the Queen will take over John Inman's role in the revival of Are You Being Served? It will, of course, be called Are We Being Served? In the upcoming BBC televised snooker tournament, the Embassy World Match Play Royal Classic, Steve Davis will face ruthless royal opposition from that queen of the push shots, Princess Michael, seen here enjoying a bit of side on the screw. And Princess Diana is in training for her appearance on Royal Mastermind. She'll be answering very difficult questions on her special subject, Wham! Top 10 Singles from January 1982 to February 1982. In Greece, the fall of the colonels left the army so short of officers that when the lower ranks go on parade, they have to inspect each other. The ceremony the Greek soldiers enjoy most is when the corporals inspect the privates. In the sporting world, ace Chelsea striker and spare-time satirist Peter Cook has denied that there was any element of unseemly haste about his recent marriage to John Cleese. We simply plan to have the child before the wedding, says Cook. Peter Cook has done more to help us talk sense about an insane existence than any man of his generation. And when he talks nonsense, it's inspired nonsense. Everything that's happened in comedy since him has happened because of him, and he's still happening. Once again, I'm overwhelmed to welcome Peter Cook. The general election's only a few weeks away. How are you enjoying the television coverage?
Oh, I'm so excited. It's so enjoyable. I have such a wonderful time. It only comes about once every 4 years, which is depressing. But I think now it's on us. We should just enjoy it, because in a way it's different from any election we've ever had in the past. I mean, it is so exciting.
What do you think of all the technology and stuff on TV and the computers? Don't you miss the dear old days of Bob McKenzie? And...
Oh, the swingometer, yes. Well, it'd be a bit difficult with 3 parties, wouldn't it, to get that machine swinging. I rather like the new technology, and it goes on for longer. The thing I really enjoy about election night is staying up for ever and ever and ever. In fact, I missed the last election, but luckily I videoed it. And nobody told me the results, so I was able to enjoy the tension when I got back from Marbella.
There's a good chance that the results will take a long time this year because there may be a hung parliament. Do you know what a hung parliament is?
Well, I prefer to call it a balanced parliament, because this is going to be a thoughtful election, as David Owen keeps telling us. And he is a very well balanced politician.
What about opinion polls? Do you take any notice of them?
Yeah, I do. I haven't been asked, ever. I've been wandering up and down Hampstead, day and night, as a floating voter. I'm a guppy.
What's a guppy?
Guppy? Guppy is, well, I'm a guppy. It's a sort of gloomy, useless, pessimistic prat. We're quite a group, but nobody's asked me a thing.
Well, you once were famous for formulating a moustache theory of power. Could you take us a brief canter through that theory?
Well, I began with my moustache mode of life with Macmillan. And I felt that the moustache, without the moustache, Macmillan couldn't have done anything. And I think the moustache just enables you to act powerfully. And, for example, in Whoop's Apocalypse, I played a mad prime minister. And I think it gives you the capacity to invade places. I mean, think of all the really good invaders. They've all had moustaches on the whole. And in fact, Eden straight into Suez with his moustache. Hitler, a fairly consummate aggressor. And some say that Maggie is a triumph of the depilator's art. But in the interest of balance, so is David Owen, so is David Steele, and of course, Neil.
Ginger moustache and Neil.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's done very well so far.
How would you sort out MI5?
Oh.
Well, given the power to do so, I mean, what is...
Well, I'm privy to a little bit of information which I should probably pass on to you and the viewing audience.
Yeah.
But, you know Mike Oldfield, the Tubular Bells person?
Yeah.
He was a spy. And if you play Tubular Bells backwards, you get the locations of all our missile emplacements and everything.
So it wasn't...
And all the missiles are, in fact, dressed by Bruce Oldfield. Couturier to royalty.